Welcome. In this video, we are going to continue our Javonet journey and take a look at how you can call a Python AI library, which is called NumPy, from your Java environment, Java code base. And bear in mind that while this AI library is pretty famous, it has no extra details regarding the setup. And you would set up any other Python module that you would like to call from Javonet with the help of the bridge that it creates. So let's jump right into it. Those of you who are unfamiliar with Javonet or joined this train a bit late, basically Javonet is an advanced runtime bridging technology that allows you to call direct methods from different programming languages and bridge or create a bridge between, let's say, Java and Python, C# and Python, Go and Java, and so on. So on their product page, there is a pretty decent description as to what you are able to do for now. But these functions are getting more and more broad as the time goes by. So it basically eliminates the need for additional integration layers, which is very important, making cross-platform development pretty simple. And technology is moving forward, and you may be in a situation when you want to have this bridge available to allow you to overcome different difficulties. Before we jump right into the deep, let's take a quick review as to the components, or what are the components of this video. So Java is basically a versatile and really old object-oriented programming language, and it runs on billions of devices like smartphone, micro devices, laptops, personal computers, servers, and so on. And it is a very well-established platform, and it has a pretty well-matured environment that allows you to develop different applications. Python, on the other hand, is a bit younger as for the professional use case or usage. It's a high-level programming language. Some people also tend to call it a scripting language. And people like it due to the steep learning curve. So investing very little time allows you to get great results, so to speak. And it is pretty readable, easy to learn, and easy to master. And NumPy has become the, let's say, de facto fundamental library that you get to know with when you learn or dig deeper into the AI libraries of Python. And it allows you to a powerful tool set, which is working with large numbers, working with n-dimensional arrays in a pretty efficient manner. And it also provides a couple of mathematical functions that allow you to process this data, different classes, and so on. So these are the foundations that we are going to build on. So let's start by preparing our environment. What we need to gather or acquire is a pseudo prompt. And after we have the pseudo prompt, first we are going to make sure that the latest Java is installed. And we have multiple ways of installing Java. We can compile it from source code or use the PPA repositories, which is short for personal packages repository, or we could use the default JDK, which would install the default which is available from the base repositories. That's an older version. We want to use the latest and the greatest. And the command that we want to issue is the add apt repository PPA and open jdk-r/PPA. And For me, it will fail because I have already prepared the environment. And if I issue the command correctly. Otherwise, what will happen is that it will add the repository, and as you can see, it was found existing entry. Then it will issue an update. So once it is done, we can use the apt install openjdk 21.jdk. And it is already installed. So that's the Java part. And if we want to verify the version, we can do it with this command. Wow, so many white spaces. And as you can see, OpenJDK 21.04. The next thing that we need to do, if you are also using a fresh Ubuntu installation on your Raspberry Pi, is to install with the apt install the Python 3-pip. So it is also succeeding because I already have pip installed, and then we can use the Python 3-mpip install numpy. And this should work if you add the break system packages. This is a funny switch, but basically since Python 3.12 there was a change in which you are by default allowed to install packages. And globally, you should not install packages. You should use virtual environments and then install them. But for easier access from Java perspective, we are installing it this way. And the third thing is the Javonet. Let's Google it. Java developers. So here, by the way, the getting started guides are, I think, impeccable. So technically, if you scroll down, you will see this public repository, and you open it in a new tab. And there we go. And in the versions, what you should find is this browse button on the right side. And basically, what I would suggest is to download the latest and the one before, just to make sure that you cover the testing aspects. And here I have downloaded the 2.5 and the 2.4.8 maybe, or something like that. And one of them I have downloaded more than once. So 2.3, 2.4.8, and 2.5.0. And technically, that's it. With this, we have almost finished the preparation. The last part is to have an IDE. So IntelliJ IDE. This is what we are going to use. And technically, what we can do is to download the IntelliJ IDE. We just have to scroll down a bit. So it's not every time that you are downloading it, but after the download completes, it is going to be a tar.gz file. What you have to do is to basically extract this tar.gz file. What I did was to extract it under the opt folder. So if I go ahead and issue the sudo opt into IDE and bin id.sh, it should go ahead and start the IDE. And that's all for the environment preparation. The time has come for us to create our project. So if you open up the IntelliJ and click on the new project, you should be able to select this compose for desktop. Oh no, I think that should be good for us. Or just this simple Java project, that should be fine for us. So Java Py. That should be it. And we do not want to create a Git repository. It's the build system could be or should be IntelliJ, and we do not want any sample codes, and we want to leave everything as it is. In Linux terms and on Windows terms, this means that this is the root folder of the user profile, and this is where the project will be located, and we can select the appropriate SDK you have seen in the previous video, which we installed. So let's reuse this window. And one important thing that we will need is basically the license key. You can log in with your account and copy the license key. We will need it. So that's one thing. And the other thing that we have to do is to go to the top left side, project structure, library. And if we click on the Java, we should be able to browse the home ReaperPy downloads. And inside here, we have the jar file. And this is what we want to add, and apply, and OK. And we should have it here under the Javonet Java SDK. So that's for the initialization part. So you will need the license key, and you have to import the external library that you have just downloaded. And then what we want to do is to call our appropriate, let's say, code. And we want to have, let's give it numpy r. Or, let's call this Python in Java class. And technically, we need to have some import statements. So import com.javonet.sdk.invocation context, and then what we will have to do is to import the com.javonet.sdk.runtime context, and then we import com.javonet.sdk.javonet. If the import is working properly, it should autofill these informations. And unused imports, that's perfectly fine. I think I will try to increase the font size. This looks a little bit better, and it has no usages. And we should have the public static void main with string and we are going to, so this is going to be the string and the args, and we need the curly braces, and then we will have to use the Javonet that activate, and we have to specify our license key. So what I did was to hide mine in a hidden variable. So Javonet or Java key, and I will just copy this and simply paste it here. So let's paste it. And then this is still in the main. So runtime context is Python runtime, which is Javonet that in memory Python. Ho. Javonet that in memory and Python. And now we have our runtime context, and we will have the string library path, which is the let's make it dot. We will see if it works, and we will have the string class name, which is going to be test class dot test class, and we will have to write accordingly the code that we have in the source folder, and the called runtime dot load. So this should be using the Python runtime, and basically what will happen is that it is going to search for the test class.py. So I have here some code just for demonstration, and then we are going to basically switch it out for NumPy. So Python in Java, we have the load library function, and then we are going to have to create an invocation context. So invocation context is going to be called runtime type, and it's going to come from Python runtime.get type, and we will use the class name, and we want to execute, and then we should get a response. So invocation response, and basically the Python runtime, and invoke static method. That should work now. So demo, and then this is the demo response, and system.out.println and demo response. Come on. Okay, let's save it and go back to the test class and create the class. So test class, and we are going to call this as a static method and save it. Open SSL, libel XSL. It should be done in no time. So, through the magic of editing, the installation was complete, and now we are going to be aware of a few more errors. So when we imagine the way that the paths are treated in our Java project, this is our root folder. And when I say for the library path that I want to include from the root folder, I have to make sure that this is the src folder that I reference. And here there is a missing execute part, which is the function call. And then what I also have to do is to import the java.lang.string. So this is going to allow the conversion between the return value and the appropriate output. So let's do this. And as you can see, we have successfully called our Python code. Now let's numpyify it. So here we are at the gates of hell, so to speak. So what we want to do at first, I have a small to-do list. So we want to have a 3x3 matrix, which has random values. So let's call this 3x3, and it does not have an argument. And what we want to return is the numpy dot random, and we specify a tuple in Python terms with 3 and 3. And let's save it. And now we have to modify this to 3x3 and save it. And if you run it, we are going to see a bit of a problem, or not really a problem, but this is going to be technically an empty response. And the reason for that is that we have to use the numpy array to string to make sure that these are compatible types. And then we can basically then deserialize it on Java side. So every time I will run this example, you will see that we can see the next random numbers. And this is how it works. So you have two ways. Either you try to create your own class in Java that allows you to deserialize these values that you get from Python, or get them as a string and deserialize without casting. And the next example is going to be called random matrix. So we have the @static method and random matrix, and we have A and B, which are going to be the arguments. And what we want to do is to use the numpy.array to string and numpy.random, and we will specify A and B. So that's going to be the way we can use it. And after saving it, what we have to do is to copy this and print it here, or paste it, sorry, random matrix. Did I write the name? Okay. So random matrix A and B. So when we want to invoke this static method, we have to specify the two arguments. So 2 by 2, maybe. These are going to be the ones. And drum roll. And as you can see, we have a 2 by 2 matrix returned. And what else do we have here? So another example is the matrix multiplication. So @static method matrix mult, and we would take two matrices and multiplicate them. So now, do we have everything closed? We have it. And there we go. The matrix multiplication example is also working, and I think I have another one. So that was all. So technically, now you have seen how we are able to build the bridge between the Java project and the Javonet, the Python code that is bridged by the Javonet SDK, and you should be in no time up and running if you had to incorporate this one. And technically, let's say the magic of this is really the bridge which it creates between these different languages. So Python's powerful numeric libraries, or whatever library that you intend to use, and your choice of programming language. So, as you have seen, using Python libraries like the NumPy within the Java project is pretty straightforward. There are caveats which you have to remember, and it will depend on whether you are using an SDK, you are using a text editor. So if you are like a console guru or an ID guru, it will be a little bit different, but there is decent documentation which you should consider reading. And you can basically add any other Python dependencies to your Java projects. And this powerful integration opens up different possibilities and allows you to combine the strength of Python and Java and other languages. If you want to further experiment, you should try the TensorFlow library, which is also a machine learning library, and try to build more complex systems or integrate them. Even try out Javonet Gateway. Guys, I would really like to thank you for watching, and I hope that I have helped you further your knowledge in understanding how Javonet works. And my hope was to give you a live example with some troubleshooting and how you can incorporate this tool set. See you in the next one.